Hi everyone, good to have you here today. So I think everyone is really excited to see what's going on today, right? So some of you have already heard yesterday that we have just launched the new Crane 2S. So the legend is back. The legend is back. So do leave us some comments if you have any questions. Anything that you want to ask about the Crane 2S, do feel free to leave us a comment, and we will have someone, some of my colleagues who actually reply some of your questions. I'll try to keep a lookout of some of your questions, and if I can, I will answer your questions now and then. All right. So before I start this officially, I just want to share that we are going to give away Crane 2S today. So we are going to give away 2 sets. So we are doing live now on our Facebook page and also on our YouTube channel. So later on, I'll ask a question, and the first person who can answer my question correctly on either the Facebook page or our YouTube channel will stand a chance to win the Crane 2S. Okay? So keep a lookout, listen to me, what I have to say, because I'm going to ask a question related to what I'm going to share with you today. Okay? So keep a lookout. I hope my audio, everything is good. So we've done a lot of tests, so I hope everything is good. Okay, so let's move into the introduction of the Crane 2S. Okay, let me switch to my computer here. Okay. All right. Oh, why am I having a black screen? Oops. All right. I'll show myself here as well. Okay, so Crane 2S. For those of you who have followed us and who know about the older version of the Crane 2, this is actually the long wait of the new version of the Crane 2, which is the Crane 2S. So for some of our fans and followers, if you have used our Crane 2, you will know how amazing the Crane 2 is. Okay, give me a minute. I need to. I know. Don't worry. Okay. Yep. Sorry, I just need to remove that logo. Okay, so let me go back to my PowerPoint again. Yeah. Anyway, I got a lot of good assistants here with me today to help me. So someone spotted the logo who is blocking part of my good-looking setup here. Okay, so back to where I was. So like I was saying, for those of you who have used the Crane 2, and you would definitely know how amazing the Crane 2 is, we have actually upgraded the Crane 2 with the Crane 2S with a lot of really, really cool features on the new upgraded Crane 2S. Okay, so let me just move on to share with you a little bit more of some of the really cool upgraded feature of the Crane 2S. So basically the Crane 2S, if you look at the general physical look at it, it looks pretty similar to the Crane 2. However, we have actually added in a lot of new features on it. Like now on the Crane 2S, in terms of the camera compatibility, you can actually, use with a lot of new cameras, even like the BMP-CC 6K, the Canon R5, even the Zcam, the E2, the E2 F6, the entire series of Zcam. So it's compatible, with all the latest cameras. Yeah, and not only that, we actually have a lot of improvised, version of like the follow focus servo. We have a new improvised follow focus servo, which unfortunately I don't have it here to show you guys today, but you guys will get to see it really soon. And you can also actually put up the new wireless image transmitter on the Crane 2S. Okay, so let's move on to some of the final new features of the Crane 2S. If you look over here, we actually have a new locking mechanism on the Crane 2S, which I will show to you in a while. So this new locking mechanism makes it easier for you to not only just to unlock the your Manfrotto plate, but with one swift movement, you can easily remove the entire Manfrotto plate. So it makes your setup and assembly really, really easy. Also, with the new locking mechanism, on the bottom of the locking mechanism, that is where it allows you to adjust, the tension of the lock. So, for example, if you feel that the lock is not tight enough, all you need to do is just to press and hold on to the bottom button, and then you can actually adjust the angle of the lever so that you can actually further tighten. So this is actually a very, very cool new improvised device. So why not just let me show you. I'll move into the close-up camera since we are here. So okay. So since we are here, let's talk about some of the close-up. So over here, as you can see, let me just turn off this first. Okay. Okay, so sorry, I'm going to get out of frame a little bit. So over here, this is the lever that I'm talking about. Okay, so with one swift movement, you can actually press and remove the entire plate. And on the bottom over here, there's a little pin. So this little pin is, for example, if I were to tighten this and I feel that, if it's not tight enough, all I can do is to press and hold the pin. It loosens the lever so that I can actually readjust the position of the lever and I can further tighten it even more. Like this. So this is a very cool feature on the new locking mechanism on the base plate, the Manfrotto base plate. Okay, so let me go back to my PowerPoint. Okay, so this is the new locking mechanism on the base plate. This is one of my favorite. This is actually a new feature on the Crane 2S, which allows you to easily change your camera from a traditional landscape mode to a portrait mode with the help of a new design on the axis over here, which actually has also a plate at the side so that you can actually easily, swap and mount it later on. So I'll share more of the close-up shots to you guys again in a while. I'll just move on quickly with some of the new features of the Crane 2S. So in the vertical shooting manner, there's actually a really cool locking mechanism on here. It's basically a knob, a safety knob, which allows you to actually loosen and tighten. And there's actually a golden knob here to allow you to release your Manfrotto plate, from this vertical position. Also, on the Crane 2S, now we actually have, you're able to actually mount the wireless image transmitter on the Crane 2S, and you can actually use your smartphone through the application, and you can actually control, your camera's features, your camera settings, and even like, the motion sensor, the motion mimic movement on the Crane 2S. So you have this possibility of, having this setup as well. Okay, so this is also one new really, really cool feature. This, instead of removing, in your usual Crane tool, when you remove the manfrotto plate, when you want to put the manfrotto plate back onto the gimbal, you need to rebalance it again. But on the Crane 2S, the manfrotto plate is actually being mounted onto a base plate, which the base plate can be removed entirely. So it allows you to, remove your camera. For example, if you want to, remove your camera to take photos or to, mount it on other devices, and then you want to mount your camera back onto the gimbal again, it saves you a lot of time to having to rebalance it again. So this is a very cool new feature as well. So for those of you who have seen or used our Crane M2, which is a smaller version, it's pretty much similar to the Crane M2 where you can actually remove the entire base plate. So this helps you to, easily mount the camera back onto the gimbal without having to spend too much time to rebalance the gimbal again. Okay, the next feature is the follow focus. Similarly to the Crane 2, the Crane 2S has a follow focus wheel on the handle itself, but the follow focus wheel on the Crane 2S, I personally would say it's a lot better compared to the Crane 2 because of the feel. For those of you who have used the Crane 2, if you were to feel the, the follow focus on the Crane 2 wheel, it's a little bit loose, so you don't really get that kind of feel in terms of, playing around with your focus servo. But on the Crane 2S, the follow focus wheel is actually, it's very tight. So it gives you that kind of feel where it's very precise. So it's like with just slight movement, it actually controls, the response of the servo is very fast and it's very precise. So that's the new follow focus wheel. And as you can see, it's actually made smaller. So it's actually easier for you to, maneuver with your thumb, compared to the bigger follow focus wheel, which is on the Crane 2. So this is the new follow focus wheel on the Crane 2S. So like I mentioned earlier on, there is a new follow focus servo for the Crane 2S. Unfortunately, I don't have it right now, but the new follow focus servo is a lot more precise compared to the older servo, which is very good in terms of response speed as well as precise decision movement. Next is the LED screen. The OLED screen is bigger compared to the older Crane 2S. The new OLED screen is 0.96 inch. So it's actually bigger. So it allows you to, easily see your mode that you're in on your gimbal. And not only that, now with the bigger OLED screen, we actually are able to actually input different languages. So currently, we actually have both the English and Chinese language, which is available on the current firmware on the Crane 2S. However, we might be exploring to, input more languages because of the free play that we have now with the bigger OLED. So this could be, in the near future, we could input probably more languages with firmware update. All right. Okay. Next is the axis locking mechanism. So the axis locking mechanism on the Crane 2S, it's actually a very simple basic lock, which is just unlock and lock. However, when you actually lock the axis, it actually totally locks the axis. So it's 100% secure. You don't get that free play in between. So if you know that, on our Crane 3S, the locking mechanism on our Crane 3S is, it allows you to lock and it allows you to further lock to, securely, secure the axis and not having to have any movements or any vibrations. So on the Crane 2S, we have made it in such a way whereby it's a very simple locking mechanism. It's just unlock and lock. But when you lock it, it's totally locked. You don't get the free play. So it's easy for you to operate. And you don't have to worry about like minor jitters, when you lock it. So this is the new axis locking mechanism. Okay, so as you also notice on the Crane 2S, the bottom half of the handle, which is the battery cover, we have actually changed it to a carbon fiber finishing, which actually makes the gimbal a little bit lighter, and it gives you a better grip. And this is actually 100% carbon fiber. So it's a pure carbon fiber material, which actually makes the grip, the feel a lot much better, and it makes the gimbal lighter. Similarly to the Crane 2, the Crane 2S is actually running on 3 pieces of 18650 batteries, and the total runtime of the Crane 2S is 12 hours. So still a very long time, operating time, with the 3 pieces of 18650 batteries. One more new added features on the Crane 2 is the Crane 2S is on the back of the Crane 2S. There is actually a button. It's actually a function button which allows you to switch between your modes. For example, you want to switch between your pan follow, your full, your POV. You can switch between the modes, and you can actually configure the feature on the button itself. So you can actually set it in such a way whereby it only allows you to trigger the F mode. Even in the F mode, it allows you to configure if you want to hold it, to get you to the F mode, or just one press to get you to the F mode. So this button is very, very useful. It actually allows you to do a lot of customized mode configuration, depending on which mode you usually use or which mode you prefer. And the design of the button is very nice in such a way whereby when you hold your gimbal, your finger is like within the reach of the button. So you don't have to like readjust your hand position, to reach out to the function button. Okay? So I'll just briefly go through some of the new features of the Crane 2S first, and then after that, I will actually switch over to a close-up camera so that I can show you live in close-up some of the new features of the Crane 2S. Similarly to the older, some of our other gimbals like the Crane 3S and the Weebill S, we actually have, functions, features like the time lapse, moving time lapse, and all these are, you're able to use all these features on the ZY Play app itself. So you can actually connect your ZY Play app easily to the Crane 2S, and you can actually still make use of the features on the ZY Play app itself. So features like panoramic shots, time lapse, motion time lapse, long exposure. These are some of the features that you can actually, do on the Crane 2S as well. Also now, we actually have an entire ecosystem, entire solution that allows you to actually be mounted on the Crane 2S to help you to, solve some of your, your needs in terms of when you shoot your productions or when you shoot your film. You need to mount certain things like monitors, microphones, wireless image transmitter, things like that. So we actually have an entire ecosystem to help you to, solve this issue and to create a solution for you to mount a lot of these accessories to help you enhance your shooting experience. Okay, so let's quickly just run through the difference between the Crane 2 and the Crane 2S. So for the first to talk about is the quick release system. On the Crane 2, actually there is a traditional quick release plate, but on the Crane 2S, it's actually the upgraded quick release plate with the secure locks, which I mentioned to you guys earlier on. The second difference is on the Crane 2S, you don't have a vertical shooting mode. But sorry, on the Crane 2, you don't have a vertical shooting mode. But on the Crane 2S, you have a vertical shooting mode, which you do not need to have additional accessories to mount your camera in a vertical position. So this is the vertical shooting mode. The OLED screen on the Crane 2 is 0.66 inch, but the new OLED screen on the Crane 2S is 0.96 inch. So it's like 1/3 bigger, the size. In terms of the extension port on the Crane 2S, basically you only have 1/4 inch screw hole for you to mount additional accessories on your Crane 2. But on the Crane 2S, there is actually 2/4 inch screw holes on both sides of the handle. Even on the bottom of it, it comes with a 1/4 inch screw on the base of the handle. So you have multiple options for you to mount more accessories on your Crane 2S. Also on the follow focus system, on the Crane 2, which is one of the first gimbal in the market that actually has a follow focus feature on the gimbal, we have only one follow focus feature control on the Crane 2. But on the Crane 2S, as you can see here, we are able to actually mount two different servos. One is the follow focus servo and the other is the zoom servo, which means it allows you to control either the follow focus or the zoom. Okay, so you must be wondering, I only have one follow focus wheel. So how am I able to control two servos? So there is actually a setting on the gimbal itself, which allows you to interchange between the controls of either the focus ring or the zoom ring. So you can actually switch, between whether you want to do the wheel to adjust your focus, or you want to use it to adjust your zoom. Okay, so it's a multi-purpose wheel, a multi-functional wheel. And then the last of it is the 3-axis lock. On the Crane 2, unfortunately, we don't have actually any locks on the Crane 2 on the axis. But on the Crane 2S, I've shared earlier on, we actually have a very simple lock and unlock system. But even if you're in the lock system, it fully locks your axis without having any vibrations or any jitters. Okay, so these are pretty much some of the new features of the Crane 2S. So let me now go into some of the details. I'll just change it to the close-up camera so you can actually see. Okay, so I have here the close-up cameras. Okay, so what I'll do is, I think I'll step in front here a little bit so I can show. It's okay, right, if I stand here? Okay. So, okay, let me just get this one here. Okay, so, okay, sorry, it's out of focus. Okay, so I'll just do it here. Okay, so let me just share close up some of the shots. So first of all, let me talk about the handle first. Okay, so this is actually carbon fiber. I'm not sure you can hear, but this is actually a carbon fiber material. So the grip is actually, it feels much better compared to the metal finishing. Over here, this is actually the new follow focus wheel. It's smaller. So when I'm holding this way, it allows me to easily adjust it compared to the older Crane 2, which is a much bigger wheel. So with a smaller wheel, it actually allows me to easily control the focus. Okay, and like what I mentioned on the back, there is actually this function button here, which allows you to switch between modes. You can configure it, you can preset it up to your own preference. So this button here at the back is easily reachable. If I were to hold it, this way. It's easily reachable to my index finger. So I don't have to readjust my hand position just to switch to reach this button. So this button is very well placed on the handle where I can easily reach it. Let's look at the front of the gimbal. So if you look at the layout of the front, it's very similar to the Crane 2, but we have a much bigger OLED now. It's a 0.96 inch OLED, so give you it makes it easier to see, and you can actually have more settings available or visually available on the LED screen itself. Okay, moving on to the sight on the top part. There are two 1/4-inch screw holes on both sides of the gimbal, which allows you to mount more accessories. Okay. One more feature I would like to talk about is, okay, if we look at the y-axis over here, if you can see the y-axis, the y-axis is actually now made thinner compared to some of the other gimbals. It's actually made thinner. So it's not like the previous older model whereby the y-axis is very thick. So when it's thinner, it actually gives you an option to, for example, if you want to hold the top part like this, if you want to have a better grip of the gimbal, maybe in certain position, you can actually grip the top part here without having to, affect the movement of the y-axis. So now the y-axis is actually made much thinner. So this is one of the advantage of it. So you can actually have a higher grip if you want to have a more firm grip of the handle. Okay, so this is the sum of it. One more feature I'd like to talk about is, okay, let me just, which one is easier? Okay, I'll just disconnect this. Okay, I want to share with you about the bottom plate here that I was talking about. So on the bottom of the Manfrotto plate, there is actually a base plate, and the base plate can actually be easily removed. The entire base plate can be removed, just like this. So you can see I can actually remove the entire base plate. So I don't have to remove the Manfrotto plate. So when I want to mount the camera back onto the gimbal, all I need to do is just to slide this back in and locked it. And then it's back in position. So I don't have to, rebalance it. I don't have to rebalance it again. So this is a very, very cool feature as well. I got one setup over here. Let me just quickly grab it. Okay. Let me move this to the side here. Okay, so I have this setup here. This is actually mounted vertically. So if you can see this close up over here, this is actually a Zcam E2 F6. And basically it's in a portrait. If you look at the camera, it's in a portrait mode. And it's actually mounted here on the side of the tilt axis. So without having to add on additional cage or additional plates to mount the camera vertically, you can easily just remove the Manfrotto plate and put it on the tilt axis, just mount it there, and you have a vertical setup. So this is a very easy and very fast way of changing your camera into a vertical mode. Okay, so these days a lot of people are, shooting like, Instagram live, Instagram stories, or, even Amazon live, they are mostly in the portrait mode. So if you ever need to use your camera to shoot in the portrait mode, the Crane 2S is a very, very good solution for you to easily interchange between the traditional landscape mode and the portrait mode. Okay, so let me put this back to where it's supposed to be. Okay, so that is pretty much about it. So let me just connect this back. If you guys have any questions, you guys can ask. I may not be able to answer your question now, but I have someone on my back end who will help me to answer your question. Okay, let me just give me a minute while I just connect this back, because I want to show you the transmount remote control solution on this itself. Okay, let me turn this on. I'll turn the camera on. Anyway, what I have here is the Blackmagic Pocket, the BMPCC 4K. So this is my solution. Okay, it should be connected. Okay, so basically, this is the Transmile image, wireless image control solution. Okay, so you can see this is basically my crew. If you can look in the monitor, this is basically my crew behind. We have Sean here. So we have some of my crew behind. So this is actually the monitor, the Transmile wireless image remote handle solution. So I can easily, use this feature to manually control as well. This is the mimic feature. So I can also mimic this feature over here. Yep. So pretty cool. And I can control, using this system, I can easily control the camera's feature as well, like, the ISO, the aperture, the shutter speed. I can easily control the camera's setting, on this Transmile wireless remote system. Okay, so this is a very, very nice solution. Oh dear, okay. So let me switch it back to my A cam so you guys see me big and clear right now. Okay, so what is the time now? Okay, we're running a little bit into the time, but it's okay, not to worry about that. Okay, so let me see. Wow, I have a lot of questions. I hope my colleagues are doing a good job replying to your questions. Yeah, anyway, kudos to the team back in Shenzhen who is staying up late, working overtime tonight for this live. Okay. So what? Oh, my A cam is my A cam on? My image is frozen. Someone my image is frozen. Can you see? Cannot see, right? It's frozen. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Give us 1 minute while we try to troubleshoot the technical issues. No, it's you guys can still see me, but you guys can't. No, there's no image. There's no image. You can check from the phone there. There's no image. Never mind. We'll do with the other cam. We'll do with the other B cam. Okay. Okay, no worries. I think we have some technical issues with my A cam, so we'll just continue with the B cam. Okay. So what I'll do is, are you still able to see me? Oh, you still can't see me. Okay, let me see what's the issue here. No, the cameras are not up. Then, no, there's no image here. There is no image here. No, it's connected. It's connected. There's no image, but people can hear me, but there's no image. It's showing on my monitor, but it's not showing on my computer. Okay, great. I'm back. Okay, my heart stopped for a while, I swear. Okay, anyways, I'm back. I'm back. So sorry for that little technical issues earlier on. So great to be back and great to see you guys again. So okay, so without further ado, I'm actually very honored today to have here to join me live today. He's actually John Eldred. He's actually he's the senior editor of DIY Photography. So without further ado, let me actually invite John in. Hey,
Hey,
John.
Alvin. Can you hear me okay?
Can everyone hear John? Maybe one of you can help me to test if everyone can hear John.
I should probably say something then if you're trying to see if you can hear me.
Can you hear John? All right,
My microphone
cool.
is
John,
definitely
you're good.
unmuted.
Everyone can hear you loud
Awesome.
and clear. I'm the only one who can't hear you, so I need to.
I should probably say something.
Oh, I need a earpiece. Do you have a earpiece? Okay, give me a minute. No, I need a earpiece. Yeah, sorry. Give me a second. So yeah, that is really unfortunate. But before I go into that, maybe John, you might want to just share with the viewers. You might want to share with the viewers a little bit about yourself while I get
Sure.
when I get a mic. I'll get a earphone.
Sure. So, as Alvin said, I'm John Aldred. I'm senior editor at DIYphotography.net. I've been a photographer for the past 20 years or so and video for the last 10. I also occasionally upload videos to YouTube. And Alvin's looking for an earpiece. Oh, there he is. I've been a photographer for the past 20 years or so and video for the last 10. I also occasionally upload videos to YouTube.
All right. Okay. John, I can hear you loud and clear right now.
Fantastic.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Brilliant.
All right, cool. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing a little bit about yourself. And
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
I'm very happy to have you here. Very honored to have you here today. All right. So yeah, what do you think about the Crane 2S?
I've got one here. Obviously, I've only been able to use it for a couple of days, but so far I like everything about it over the original Crane 2. I think my Crane 2 is just going to be going on permanent backup duty now.
So yeah, what do you think about?
He's still having technical difficulties.
Yep. Cool. So what do you have for me today?
So I have a few questions about the Crane 2S and accessories. So I'm just going to get right into it. First up is the new focus motors with the Crane 2S. For those who already own the Crane 3S or the Crane 3 Lab and have the focus motors for those, can those be used on the Crane 2S? What's the benefit of the new ones over those? And are the new ones also compatible with the Crane 3 Lab and Crane 3S?
Okay, so the Crane 2S, the follow focus motor on the Crane 2S can be used on the Crane 3S. Yeah.
Can those be used on the Crane 2S? What's the benefit?
I think I might need to hear from.
You're hearing me delayed.
Yeah, there's a delay. Okay, so I'm actually getting double audio, but it's fine. I can maybe borrow one of your audio.
You're hearing me delayed.
Yeah. there's a delay. I'm actually getting double. No, I think it will not work this way. It will not work this way. Yeah, there's a delay. I'm actually getting double audio. Can I turn off this mic first? Can I turn off this mic? I'll just use the computer's mic. This one. I'm actually getting double audio. Can I turn off this mic first? Can I turn off this mic? I'll just use the computer's mic. I'm good now, John. I'm good.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm good. Because I was having the multiple mic. Okay, never mind. I got the audio solution. I got it solved.
Okay.
So, yeah, you were asking about...
Cool.
I'm actually getting double audio. Can I turn off this mic first?
Yeah.
This mic. I'll just use the computer's mic. Good now, John. I'm good. So what's your next question?
Okay, fingers crossed. Sorry, your microphone's still picking up your speaker.
The multiple mic. Okay, never mind. I got the audio solution. I got it solved.
Okay.
So, yeah, you were asking about... I'm actually getting double audio. Can I turn off this mic first?
Yeah.
This mic. I'll just use the computer's mic. Good now, John. I'm good. So what's your next question?
Okay, fingers crossed. Sorry, your microphone's still picking up your speaker.
Okay, the multiple mic. Okay, yeah, I got the audio solution. But it's fine. Okay, can we do a test? Can we do a test again?
Can you hear me now, Alvin?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Fantastic. I can't hear myself. So we're good.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Brilliant. Yes, so you said the sorry, go ahead.
No worries. You go ahead.
All right, so you say the Crane 2S, the Crane 2S will work with the Crane 3S and Crane 3 Lab motors. What's the advantage of getting the new motor over the old one?
The new motor is actually more precise, in terms of the movements. So compared to the older models, it's more sensitive. Yeah.
And will the new focus motor work on the Crane 3S and the Crane 3 Lab as well?
It will work on the Crane 3S, but unfortunately, it will not work on the Crane 3 Lab. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Just at the end there, you remove the whole horizontal plate, which is probably my favorite feature about the Crane 2S, so that I can stick it on a slider or a tripod and then put it straight back on the gimbal afterwards, and I don't need to mess around and balance. Is it possible to get spares of those plates so that you could have 2 or 3 cameras set up in advance to just swap them in and out?
Unfortunately, now we do not actually have the Manfrotto plate to be sold separately, but we will consider actually to sell the Manfrotto plate separately, maybe in the near future. But currently, we do not sell the Manfrotto plate separately.
Okay, right. I want to talk. I keep going back to the Crane 3S. One of the good things about the Crane 3S when it launched was, even though the maximum load capacity had increased, the minimum load was still the same. Will this Crane 2S still let you use lighter cameras like the Crane 2?
Yes, it still allows you to use smaller camera setup. The smallest cameras that we have tested and it's compatible is the Sony A6000. So that's a very, very small camera. But we do not actually have a payload on the Crane 2S. It's because we don't believe in a payload because it's not accurate. So we actually have a camera and lens compatibility list, which is easily available on our website, which you can actually find. So it really depends on which camera, which lens you use. You need to find it on the compatibility list. If it's on the compatibility list, you can actually use it with the Crane 2S.
Oh, right. So the compatibility list is mostly about the balance and not electronic compatibility.
Yes, exactly. It's actually more of the balance, because the reason why I say, the payload is not accurate is because nowadays, if you were to use, the camera bodies are getting smaller, but the lenses are getting bigger and heavier, especially, if you're using cine lenses. So if I were to tell you if the payload is maybe, for example, 4 kilos, but, if it's below 4 kilos, but if it's really front heavy, you wouldn't be able to mount it or balance it on the Crane 2S. So it's totally not accurate.
Brilliant, brilliant. Are there going to be any new wireless remote control accessories coming out for the Crane 2S?
Sorry, do you mind repeating a question, Zhiyun?
Yeah, sure. Are there going to be any new wireless remote control accessories coming out just for the Crane 2S?
Currently, we don't have any other, wireless control. The ones we have is this one over here, which is the Transmile wireless image handle. So you can actually connect, wireless control with using this solution, the Transmile wireless image transmission system.
Okay, will that let you control the focus remotely as well?
Yes, you are able to control the focus from this. There's actually a back wheel behind the handle.
Ah,
You're able
right.
to control the focus. So there's a back wheel over here. I'm not sure you can see. Yep.
Brilliant. And one last question. The smartphone app for the Zhiyun gimbals has seen a lot of changes over the years. Can we expect any new modes or features to come to the app for the Crane 2S? And if so, will any of those features come to other gimbals in the lineup?
In terms of the application wise, it's still the same application, which is the ZY Play app. So it's compatible with Crane 2S, and it's compatible with any other gimbals that we have, pre-existing gimbals.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. Well, I think that's it. I think I'm out of questions.
Anyway, thank you so much, John, for joining us today, and I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much, and stay safe, take care, and
you too.
See you soon. All right?
Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, so I'm back here. And what is the time check over here? Okay, we are running a little bit late on the time. Let me just see if any questions. I'm sorry if I can't answer any of your questions now, but I believe my colleagues on the office will actually, manage to answer your question. And then moving on to the really, really exciting part, okay? And that is, I'm giving away a free Crane 2S. How many of you actually tune in the live stream just to win the Crane 2S? I want to see some comments. How many of you actually stayed up or tuned into the live just to win one of this? I know maybe some of you guys don't like me, but yeah, but this is a really, really exciting gift. So I hope, you guys can actually win. So are we all ready? Are we all ready for the giveaway? Are we all ready is anyone ready to win this Crane 2S? Okay, so I have a very, very simple question here. I'm going to just put it on below in 3 seconds. So the first person who can answer the question below, the first person either on Facebook or the first person on YouTube who answers the question below correctly will win today a special. Okay, I left out one thing. It's going to be a special edition Crane 2S, which means you have the Crane 2S in the hole. It's a special edition. We are going to surprise you with that special edition, which means that in the entire world, you only have that Crane 2S, which means that it's a limited edition. It's only 2 pieces. There's only 2 pieces in the entire world. So it's a limited edition, special edition Crane 2S. Okay? So this is really exciting. I don't even get a chance to have it. So it's really exciting. So without further ado, the first person who can answer the question below will walk away and to win this Crane 2S. So here goes the question. Oh, sorry, wrong one. So the first person who can answer what are 3 of the new features of the Crane 2S will win. So I'm going to wait for my team to tell me who is the first person, and then I'll announce the winner. Okay, so just waiting for my team here. Okay, so give me a couple of minutes. I'll just wait for my team to let me know who is the first person who can answer 3 of the new features of the Crane 2S. Okay, so while waiting for the answer, how many of you guys like the Crane 2S? I would like to see some comments. How many of you guys like the Crane 2S? Okay, I have a winner here from Facebook. Okay, this person, the winner of a special limited edition Crane 2S from Facebook is by the name of Winston Ho. Winston Ho, congratulations. Congratulations for winning a special edition of the Crane 2S. So one of my colleagues in the office will contact you very soon. So keep a lookout for their private message on Facebook. They will contact you very soon for details, to get your details. All right. So now I need to get one winner from YouTube. I should have one winner from YouTube as well. So let me just get. Okay. So we still got one more chance. We still got one more winner that we are supposed to select from YouTube. So let me just get my colleagues to let me know, to announce who's the winner of YouTube. So personally, I just want to share some of my experience. I didn't really get a chance to play a lot or really use the Crane 2S yet, but I've tested it a couple of times. It's really, really cool. Like what I mentioned, Crane 2 is my personal favorite as well. And Crane 2S is like the perfect upgrade, of the legendary Crane 2. Okay. And then what I would like to share as well is currently we have the Webuild S. We also have the Crane 3S. So I personally feel that the Crane 2S is a very, very good gimbal in between the Webuild S and the Crane 3S. So if you have mirrorless camera setup with maybe a bigger lens or bigger cine lens, which you may not be able to balance it on the Webuild S, and if you find that the Crane 3S is too big, it's too heavy, the Crane 2S is the perfect solution, for your problems. So these days, a lot of end users, a lot of people are beginning to play with cine lenses. They are beginning to play with anamorphic lenses. So these lenses are actually very heavy, and they're very big. They're very heavy. They're front heavy, so they may not be suitable to mount it on the Webuild S. So that's where we have the Crane 2S, which is a perfect solution. I've got the winner of the YouTube. Give me a minute. Can we have some drum rolls, please? Okay. Thanks, Sean, for the drum roll. Anyway, the winner of the special edition of the Crane 2S on YouTube is by the name of Suraj Chanwani. Suraj Chanwani. So congratulations, Suraj Chanwani. You are now officially the proud owner of a special edition of the Crane 2S. All right. So just hang on there. My colleagues will actually contact you very soon. on how to, get this out to you. Okay, so without further ado, this is the end of today's live. We have a bit of technical difficulties early on, but we managed to actually pull it out. And I hope you guys like the Crane 2S. And if you have any further questions, do feel free to leave the comments below, and our colleagues will actually reply to your comments, to reply to some of your questions. Okay, so with that, thank you everyone. Thank you very much for taking the time to tune in to our live online debut of the legendary Crane 2S, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and as much as I do, and I hope you guys will love the Crane 2S, because I personally do love the Crane 2S. And then hope to see you guys again really soon. So you guys take care and stay safe. Bye.